In this video, we're going to show how to migrate your proposal kit and your proposal pack wizard software installation from one computer to another computer without having to go through the whole reinstallation process from scratch, which may also include having to re-customize a lot of your customizations in the software. So basically there's two things that are going to happen. You'll have to export a registry key from the Windows registry for the wizard software and re-import that key into the new computer, and simply dragging and dropping or copying via a USB stick or just direct from a network connection the entire folder for the proposal kit install from one computer to another. So I'm going to be illustrating this video with one computer. So the first thing you need to do on the other computer that your proposal pack wizard and proposal kit is installed in is run the Regedit program, which is a Windows tool. So just type regedit in your Windows prompt, and you'll find the Regedit program, registry editor. Click that, and now you're running Windows registry editor program. Now you'll see a number of keys here. Now these are what are called keys. And you want to click H key current user, and then click software, and scroll down until you find proposal pack wiz v and then a number. This number will be whatever major version of the wizard software that you have installed. You just highlight that, and you'll notice in here these are just all the settings on your install of our wizard. You'll also notice a number of paths to folders. So this is going to be a key thing in getting the wizard software and proposal kit migrated from another computer, is you really need to use the exact same directory structure. So you'll see in this example, I have proposal kit installed into the D drive. By default, it's usually on the C drive in a folder called proposal kit and then proposal pack. So if I was going to export this registry key, I would have to create a folder on the new computer on the same drive. So you'd have to have the same drive letter on both computers. If you're using the C drive, almost every Windows computer basically defaults to the C drive for everything anyway, so it makes it easy. But if you have a custom install, you just need to use the same directory structure. Now, if you can't use the same exact directory structure, that makes migrating the system a little more difficult. I'm not going to illustrate this in the video, but you would have to actually use a text editor and do some search and replace across every path in this registry file that we export and change the path to what the new directory structure will be. Then you would also have to do a search and replace across multiple wizard database files and replace the paths in those files. So that would take a little bit more work to get it just right, but that way you can also migrate to another computer and a different directory structure. But for this demo, we're just going to show how to export the registry key as is and use the same directory structure. So once I have the proposal pack wizard wiz v highlighted, I can just say File, Export, and I can just give it a name. I'll just copy it to the desktop and call it proposalkit.reg. And that's all there is to exporting the registry. Now this is just a text file. I can open it in Notepad, and it's just a bunch of settings. On the computer that you'll be copying everything from, you'll run the Regedit program, export the wizard's registry key to a text file, and that's all there is to it. So I have this computer set up right now, and you'll notice on the C drive, I do not have a proposal kit folder. And I've cleared out the registry on this computer. So if I look at the regedit now, HKey current user, software, you'll see there's no proposal kit keys in here. So this is a clean computer with no proposal kit install on it. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I will go over to a computer that I have on the C drive a proposal kit install. Okay, now you see I've got a network drive open up here from another computer that has a proposal pack wizard and proposal pack install, say our mining number 3 design theme. And we're just going to copy and paste this entire install over to our new computer. And I'll just do this by dragging and dropping this proposal kit folder over to the new computer. I'll just wait for this to copy over. Okay, now our proposal kit folder has been copied over to the new computer right here. And the next thing we got to do is import the registry key that we created on the other computer. Now I just happened to have exported it to this file, proposalkit.reg, on the other computer. I'm just going to drag it to my desktop. It doesn't really matter where you put it. And now we don't have to use the other computer anymore. You should be able to just double click the registry file. Windows should recognize the .reg extension on the file and automatically know that it's going to use the regedit program. If your system isn't set up exactly like that, you can't double click it and have it automatically import into the regedit program. You can just run the regedit program from your start menu, just like I showed before, and then use the import drop down in the regedit program. So I'm going to say yes. And now it says the registry keys have been added to the registry. So we don't need this file anymore. And I can double check by just running the regedit program. Go down to the HKey current user, software, and now we see our imported registry key. And it's got the directory paths from the other computer, which is the C drive, C/proposal kit proposal pack. And we can double check, okay, we're on the C drive, we have a proposal kit folder, and now we have a proposal pack folder. So C/proposal kit proposal pack is our exact directory structure on the new computer, matches the old computer, and it matches what's in the registry we just imported. Now we should be able to just run the wizard and have it run just like it did on the other computer. Now we won't have the desktop icons from the previous computer, so those will have to be recreated. Okay, so now that we have the proposal kit folder copied over, we have the registry imported, now we can start running the wizard on the new computer. Now note that when we copied the wizard from another computer, that means we didn't run the normal installer exe file on the new computer, so the Salesforce DLL won't be registered with your Windows operating system, which means trying to run the full version of the wizard, which is the proposal pack wizard win15 file, will create a compile error probably when running it on the new computer the first time. So what we need to do is start by running the 10S version. This is the version of the wizard that does not have the third-party integrations included, such as Salesforce, Outlook, and QuoteWorks. Now the Salesforce API that we need to register, it's actually in this API folder right here. Normally this DLL is registered during the wizard's installer program, but it hasn't been registered because we did a copy of the installation from another computer. But we have a feature built into the wizard that will do this for you to register it. So all we have to do is run the 10s version of the wizard. If you get an enable content security message right here, just click the enable content button to enable the macro on the new document. Click the add-ins tab and run the wizard. Now if you get any path not found or file errors right now during this first run, that means something in the setup wasn't exactly the same between the new computer and the old computer. Now normally the wizard will fix up any problems, so you should be able to get to the home screen here, and then what we'll do is we'll have to use the preferences to finish setting up the wizard to run the full version. So just click the preferences and we'll come over to the integrations tab, and note also during the copy we don't have the desktop shortcuts anymore. Those are created by the installer program, but we can make a desktop shortcut right here, and that will rebuild the shortcut to the full version. Now there's another tool over here on the Tools tab, Repair Tools, Repair Desktop Shortcut. Click that, and that will create the desktop shortcut links to the manual, the Quick Start manual, and the 10s version of the wizard. So I'll just come back over here to the integrations tab where we were. And you can also do a test for compatibility. This will check a couple things to make sure that you can run the full version of the wizard, such as whether you're using the 64-bit versus 32-bit version of Office. It'll also do a check on the Salesforce DLL and so on. We kind of know in this case the Salesforce DLL is not registered. So now we can click the Salesforce tab here, and we have a button here that says manually register DLL. I'm just going to click that. And there's a little pop-up message here from the registration program, and it says it succeeded. So now we know the DLL for Salesforce has been registered with the Windows operating system. We can close this. Now we should be all set up. Now I can do a test here. And notice during this test, it has to have a little higher level of security clearance to check a couple things. So it'll tell you, oh, we need to click the words File, Options, Trust Center, and enable the VBA project model to do a full test. So we can just do that here. Click File, Options, Trust Center Settings, trust the VBA project model, say OK. And now we can redo the test for compatibility. And it didn't really spot anything. So now we can close this 10s version of the wizard. And now we are all set up with the icons to run both versions of the wizard. So run Proposal Pack Wizard right here, that's the 10s, the restricted version that does not have the integrations with, say, QuoteWorks and Salesforce included. And the icon that says Run Proposal Pack Wizard with integrations, that's the full version. So let's double click this and we should be all set up. So notice this is the first time we're running this document, so we have to enable the content. And now you see it initializing wizard. So if you see a compile error right about here, that means something is not compatible on your system. Most likely you do not have the Salesforce DLL registered. So now you can see the wizard's running. and it's all set up on the new computer. So that's all there is to it, to transfer a proposal kit installation from one computer to another, getting everything set up, including the DLLs registered, the icons created, without having to do a full reinstall from scratch and having to redo all your customizations to the Wizard's databases and files and so on. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and click subscribe to keep up on the latest proposal writing tips with Proposal Kit.